Basco TV, keeping you updated.
Is the root cause of the famous in humility one from first year to 20, because you have already experienced, why? Because the Africa, I really cry. Why? Because what is we do to keep, so we need to familiars makers of Africa. The Africanacity Tell, Julius, Africanicity TV. So here I am to inform you, to give you the information that you really feel like getting from me. I'm really here to give you all kind of sort of thing that you really want from me. So firstly, we need to understand what is the really what was Africa in the past in ancient times, and how is Africa currently. We need to understand all this. We need to understand the root cause of the domestic viruses. And always remember, you can't discover the root cause of the problem without the identification of the problem. Remember to like, subscribe, and also share. Please wait for me. Back from our break, Julius, still moving with you, Africanicity Television. Thank you for coming back. So we need to understand how was Africa in the past, how is Africa now, and then what is the root cause of the domestic violence. So we need to understand all this in this session. First thing, we need to understand right from the beginning. Few words to describe Africa in the past, not the current Africa. Few words like Africa was famous in humility. Africa was famous in what we call self-confidence. Africa was famous in self-esteem. But we need to understand what helped Africa to maintain all this. This is what helped Africa to maintain all this. It had what we call age differences. Age differences from first year to 20 years, there were years of learning. You learn what's life, the way how children were supposed to behave, the way how the children are supposed to behave before elders, before each and everyone, from first year to 20 years. Then from 20 years to 30 years, these were years of exploring, experiencing, and also experimenting. They were not only exploring and experiencing, but also experimenting. Why? Because it's like any experience without experimentation is like education without the qualifications, without the documents. That's not education. We need to understand what's really in a world. Then from 30 years to 40 years, then these were years of doing extraordinary things, because you have already experienced, you have the experience, you have to do the extraordinary things. Then from 40 years to 50 years, these were years of just making legacies, because they understood the fact that we live to live. Yes, we do live to live. We live in the world. You live with somebody. At the end of all, you have to live that somebody. You live in the country or in the world. At the end of it all, you have to live the world. So they understood that. Then from 50 years to 60 years, they acknowledged the fact that they should at least give counseling, give guidance to the upcoming generation. That's why we had the marvelous generation. That's why we had people who were so experienced. Why? Because they were given guidance in counseling. Then from 60 years to 70 years, these were years of appreciating what you have done, appreciating what you have done with your hands, with your efforts. Then from then, that's why we had the Africa maintaining the things like humility, maintaining things like self-confidence, self-reliance, maintaining things like self-esteem. But now we need to look in the current Africa. Whenever I think of the current Africa, I really cry. Why? Because what is transpiring right now is not present at all. The current Africa is the only way, is the only era that we have a boy at 40, 50 years and a man at 15, 14 years. Why? Because they never tried the process of age differences. They never understood what they were supposed to do in their ages. So this is why right now we are facing what we call hazards in life. We need to understand what's the real cause, what the root cause. Right now, in a generation whereby you can visit a family, instead of being welcomed, you are just welcomed by social media platforms such as televisions, such as TikToks. People are busy with TikToks, people are busy with WhatsApps instead of welcoming guests. So the spirit of hospitality, we need to maintain all this. How can we really maintain it? Please, we need to know the roots of Africa. Who is an African, and what can we do to keep our true colors, our true nature, we as Africans? Because really it is so absurd that we are following other people's nature, we are following the foreign nature instead of our nature. We are really abandoning our nature. It's the nature of our ancestors. It's the nature that made our ancestors proud of themselves. When you talk about Nelson Mandela, when you talk about people like Jomo Kenyatta, these people knew what to do. When you talk about people like Julius, they did not stop at working, at doing things. Instead, they took a step. We shouldn't stop at doing things. Instead, we should take a step after doing the things. So we need to really acknowledge the fact of all that. So I'm coming soon for a minute. Welcome back and thank you, Prince, for coming back toward this video. Now we are continuing with our discussion. We are talking about the domestic violence. What's the root cause of domestic violence? Woman emancipation is the root cause of domestic violence. Now, currently in the current Africa, women are given the same authority as men. No, this is not right. We need to acknowledge the fact that women were created to submit to men, and men were created to be rulers of their families, to be rulers to rule and to lead women. So we need to understand that this course of human emancipation is not going to take us anywhere. We are in the era, the so-called Z generation, whereby now women are putting on the same clothes, the same thing, the same suits that men put on. Now they have the same work. When they leave the work, when the man is like, please, I need something to take, the man will be like, if you don't afford a work, then you will be dead because of hunger. This is not what we are created to do. We need to understand what we must do. We as Africans, please, in the ancient times, women were submitting to their husbands. That's why we never had a lot of domestic violence. Even if they were there, but they were in limited levels. But right now, they are high. Why? Because of emancipation. We need to understand that it is also because we are not family members, the couples are not using courteous words like sweetheart, I love you, such words. Now, if you're a man, you don't use these words, another man will use them and will take the favor over your wife. And if you are a woman, you don't use these words. Another woman will use them and take the authority and take the favor over your husband. Yeah, because the husband will be like, oh my God, there are some people who can still see the value in me. So to avoid all that, we need to give respect, we need to submit, we need to acknowledge that girls or women, we are created to submit to husbands. In husbands, or like men were created to lead. Yeah, and also men, they are not taking, they are not discovering the power, the value of the authority. That's why women are taking over them. So we need to understand the power of our authority. So if you are a man, you don't stand in your family and talk, you are not a man. So we need to stand and use our authority as men. So the so-called virus right now is rampant because we don't understand our responsibilities, our capacities. And even if we understand them, but we are not following the rules, please, we need to acknowledge that Africa was the most continent in the things of our families, and it was stabilized. So we need to understand. Some now we have some things, the reason to why we do still have domestic violences, the reason to why now the current Africa has completely changed. It's because we are not acknowledging the things. We are still favoring some quotes. People will start saying hard work pays. If hard work pays, then show me a rich donkey. So it means if there is no rich donkey, then smart work, hard work does not pay. Instead, smart work pays. So we need to do smart work. That's why we are misusing social media platforms such as TikToks, such as social media, because we are not anchoring smart work. What is smart work? We should use social media platforms. We should use WhatsApp for ideas, beneficial and developmental ideas, but not discussing about people and about events. We need to acknowledge that, please. There are some quotes that people are following right now, and therefore they are misled. Quotes like, 1 by 1 makes a bundle. Now, if 1 by 1 makes a bundle, what about 2 by 2? I have never seen any developed country, I have never seen any developed company, any developed institution by just working 1 by 1. No, they work as a group. We need to have cooperation and togetherness in order to develop. Yeah, we are Africans. We had cooperation in the first sea. We are regretting because we are in the. I wish the days of. I wish that we could be in the. We should be in the days of. At least our ancient ancestors. I wish, because what is going on currently is not right and fair at all. So we need to understand, why are we really still, some quotes are misleading people, because like the people will say, no, please, if you work, it's not all about that success. There is luck. Every person is born with a luck. No, we should use our brains. We should use our hands to bring our success, to bring our prosperity. We shouldn't depend on luck. We are Africans. So we should also, we need to acknowledge this. Small minds will discuss people, and average minds will discuss what we call events. But great minds will discuss what we call ideas. Please, everybody that is watching me right now, we need to acknowledge, do not get excited and ecstasy over an European who has just discovered the HIV vaccination. No, instead, we should get excited because we are going to grasp ideas and ways of making ours. Because do not get excited and so ecstasy over your neighbor's tree. Instead, you should get ecstasy or ecstatic and also excited because you have your own tree in your own compound. That's your own tree. We need to have our own development. Without that, so we need to replant Africa. We need to go back to our roots through developing the spirit of self-reliance. Yeah, we are Africans. We can depend on our resources and benefit from them and develop. Yeah, we need to develop the spirit of self-esteem. Right now, when you call somebody a black African, we have to curse you and call down the gods of the ancestors that he does not know, that she does not know. Why? Because they have no self-esteem. We need to love ourselves. Like now, I'm black, I'm proud of it. Yeah, I'm a black African. Be proud of what you are, because if you don't be proud of what you are, nobody will be proud of what you are. So we should really get proud. Why are we admiring other people? Why are we admiring European countries? It's because these people, they love themselves. They are proud of what they are. That's why we are admiring them. We should be proud of what we are in order for them to admire us and follow us. Yeah, we have the ability and the capacity. Please, I call each and everyone to develop the spirit of self-esteem, self-confidence, like these people stood Nelson Mandela, like people Jomo Kenyatta, like Julius Nyerere, and also Dr. Milton. About these people had self-confidence. They stood and fought for their countries. So it's our turn. So we have many Nelson Mandelas, many Julius Nyereres, but because we have a veil on our eyes, we are not seeing. We should go back to the roots of Africa. We should go back to the roots of our ancestors in order for us to develop and discover the fact that we Africans, the black Africans, we are strong and capable of doing whatever we wish. We have sharp brains. We should break down the spirit of inferiority complex. You feel less important, you feel less clever. No, we can make it. We are the black Africans. You believe in yourself and be proud of yourself, and the rest will be done. I thank you. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and also share. Remember to subscribe.